Welcome back to Quickie Wiki What. I'm Joseph, joined as usual by my partner Justin. Every episode, we each bring to the table a Wikipedia article we found interesting and attempt to explain our articles to one another. As usual, we are streaming this live on Twitch. Hello to the chat, but you'll also be able to find the VOD on YouTube afterwards, as well as the audio wherever you get your podcasts. Hello, Justin.
Hello.
I feel like episode 3, we're in the swing of it.
Episode 3. It's lucky 3, right?
Three's company.
Three's company.
Three's a crowd.
Well,
yes.
Third time's a charm.
Third time's a charm.
Three strikes and you're out. Ooh.
You've been looking at the statistics.
Yes.
And you told me that you had some news from the web.
Well, so from episode 1, you remember, we debuted at like number 173 in Poland, right?
It's true. And since then, we've also been on the charts in Hong Kong and Finland.
Whoa.
Shout out.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
But I looked up. So we're on. So basically the 3 main ways you can absorb this. Absorb it is the right word, I think.
Well, it's information. You absorb it.
It's through Twitch, what we're doing right now, and then YouTube, and then we use Podbean is our audio podcast manager, and it tells us how things are downloaded from different. So it's the
one that shoots out the RSS feed to Spotify, Apple, wherever.
If you ever want, they're not sponsoring us, but it's been good so far.
We pay for it.
So the states, the 50 states. You heard of them?
Well, yeah. That's not his Wikipedia article, by the way. That's not it. We'll get to that in a second.
But so it has a breakdown by state, like which states are the best, which are the most that like to listen to us, and then just so the top.
So the podcast version of it, though, not
the audio version,
not the video
right?
version. Okay.
So the top states, pretty predictable, I'd say. California's number 1, New York number 2, Texas number 3. I was a bit surprised. Michigan, number 4. Illinois, number 5. So that's our top 5 states.
So California's number 1?
California, number 1.
I assume they have to catch it. They have to listen to the audio later because we stream this live at 7 p.m. when a lot of people are still at work. It's still 4 on their coast.
Yeah. So then there's the states that hate us.
The bottom 5.
The bottom 5, which is, as of right now, 0.
Oh, these are all states that are 0?
They have.
Well, then how do you rank them if there's...
Well, but they're not necessarily... But this is just...
Are there only 5 that are 0? Or are there more?
No, well, because...
So there's a lot of... We have haters.
No, let's see. Okay, so New Hampshire...
We made it.
That's New Hampshire. West Virginia. That's sad. Iowa, South Dakota, Alaska, Puerto Rico, which isn't a state, but they show it anyways. And then there's one more.
Arkansas.
Yep.
Oh my God, my home
0.
state.
That
0.
is a read. Wow.
Folks, we've made it. We have the haters.
Yeah.
I think it's not haters. I think it's just the absence of audience.
I think I
don't think that's haters. I think haters actually listen and then they hate you afterward. So maybe those places love us most because they're here on Twitch right now.
They're here live on Twitch. And then and sincerely, no, thank you, because we've gotten like over 10,000 people listened to the various across downloads across all the different platforms. So
it's been wonderful.
That really has been
a wonderful amount of people. Even if it were 2 people and you learned something, that'd be okay.
It's like being a teacher. My mom and dad were both teachers.
My mom was a teacher.
Well, what are we teaching today?
Okay, let's get into it. We've got 2 Wikipedia articles as usual. We'll both announce them right now, and then you'll go first this week. So mine is The Crypt of Civilization. It is, well, I'll just give you, it's a time capsule that was made sealed in the 1940s, and it's interesting. We'll get into it because there's some stuff in there. There's a lot of stuff. It's not like a time capsule, like a little box. This is a room that's been sealed off. So we'll get into it. Oh, no. So Shelby in the chat says, the time capsule with my Tamagotchis. As I was researching this article, I woke up in the middle of the night one night this week, and I was like, because I had time capsules on the mind, and I was like, oh, I know what happened to my Tamagotchis, because I collect Tamagotchis at this moment in time, and I don't know what happened to several of them that I had when a kid. It was also something I collected as a kid, and I woke up and I said, I think I remember where they are. So I was in, I don't know, 5th or 6th grade or something at the turn of the century. Is that the century? The year 2000?
Yeah.
And me and some friends did a time capsule, and I'm pretty sure I donated some of my electronic virtual pets to go in it. And it was an English language angel gotchi. Hello, Tamagotchi community.
Whoa.
So it's in a box somewhere underground in Arkansas, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Y2K.
That was turn of the century, turn of the millennium. Double whammy.
Yeah. The big one.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what mine is. Stay tuned for it. Justin.
So you can go get them. We can go get them.
I was actually looking on Google Maps to see if they had bulldozed over the area or anything, because I think they used to have a tree farm on it. But I think it's just an empty field now. But someone owns the property. We would have to go at night. It would be a whole like doing flips over lasers.
Ooh,
movie.
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Does she flip over lasers?
Yeah.
Okay. We would be very much like that. Britney Spears, toxic music video, leather, cat suit. So it would be a whole thing. Maybe we'll do an episode, live from the scene of the crime. We'll record the crime. We're not going to do the crime.
Well, they don't listen, so they don't know what's going to happen. They won't be suspecting it.
Who?
Arkansas.
Okay, anyway, let's get started with yours.
Okay, so I'll do an introduction, but I'm gonna go first today anyways.
Okay.
So the title, as you can see, is The Portal to Hell, but it's actually A Portal to Hell.
I think you should say the.
So I'll talk about that in a minute. But
okay.
Stull Cemetery. And this is kind of in reaction to, because Stull Cemetery is in Kansas. Because last week you asked me, like during the podcast, when you were going over the Falk monster,
the Falk monster, the Fockers is a
there you go,
TV movie thing,
and the boggy swamp,
the boggy monster, the legend of Boggy Creek Falk monster.
Oh, okay. But you're like, does Kansas have anything like that? And then I was like, I don't know. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, and I couldn't think of anything definitely from like my childhood that I remembered. But so in my friend Mike was like a big like Stull Cemetery aficionado, and there's just been Stull is was it near
you?
So it was near. So I grew up in Wichita and then went to college at Kansas State, and so Stull Cemetery is a lot closer to Manhattan. It's really close to like
Manhattan, Kansas. Which I've been made aware of since marrying you.
It's the Little Apple, if you ever want to go. But so there's Kansas State and KU are both up in kind of like that northeast part of the state, and Stull Cemetery's up in that neck of the woods.
Okay.
So so the town is just like, it's not even a town. It is just like this place that was never officially like incorporated. It's always only had like a few hundred people, so it's not really like a thriving community or anything.
It's just
like that.
an area,
right. And at one point they named it Stull because the postmaster's name is Sylvester Stull, and they're just like, well, we're just going to name your area that. Sylvester
Stull, any relation to Sylvester Stallone?
Stull, Stull, Stallone.
I don't know.
I think maybe
we're uncovering truths here today,
just
ladies.
A coincidence. That can't be. Demolition Man.
Is that a movie?
Rocky.
You did? Oh,
yeah,
I know Rocky.
Rambo 3.
I thought that was the same thing.
No, Rocky and Rambo they're two different dudes.
Interesting.
Boxer and an army dude. So, So when you look up the portal to hell, that's why I said it's on mine. I say it's a portal to hell because when you look it up, it says this is one of the 7 portals to hell. But then when you go look up, there's what are the 7 portals to hell? There's 13 places claim to be the 7 portals to hell, and then there's a place in Pittsburgh or in Pennsylvania somewhere that's like there's 7 portals to hell, but you have to go through all 7 of them in a specific order, and then you'll go through.
One of them was my basement apartment in Philly. I can tell you that.
Probably.
I opened the portal.
But so a couple of things happened that are, 2 types of incidents.
Okay.
That is kind of rumored. There's a lot of, last week, there's a lot of allegedlys. Believe it or not, there's not video proof that a portal to hell opens up and you see. Yeah.
Are you telling me this is one of those ghost hunting shows?
That they don't catch a ghost ever.
Where the thing that shows up on the radar turns out to be, or on the heat gun, turns out to be either someone farting or an air conditioner turning on?
Well, you'll hear more about a celebrity ghost hunter here in a minute.
Oh, you mentioned.
Yes.
Okay.
So one is that there was a hanging tree. There's a tree in the cemetery. It's a hanging tree, and people they're saying either witches. They would use it to judge witches. They think it maybe is just a general. They didn't say lynching, but that's what it sounded like it was. Or just someone would be guilty of a crime, and that's the tree they'd hang people on. No, nothing totally verified about it.
No historical records.
Right.
Okay.
So, and then there's another incident where a boy is buried in the cemetery. He's named Oliver Bonmeyer, and he was accidentally burned to death in a farming accident where a farmer was burning their fields.
Oh God.
That's unverified too, but
okay.
but supposedly that tombstone was there, and the rumor is if you step on his tombstone, you go straight to hell.
Just this kid's tombstone?
Yeah. Well, that's not the only. There's lots of things about the cemetery, but that's one aspect.
But the portal itself is you step on his tombstone.
No. This is just another feature.
A feature?
Yeah.
So the whole place is the portal to hell. But
right.
If you step on his grave in particular, that's when you go down.
Well, but there's another one. I mean, you can jump in the portal, but so they're actually.
You can jump in the portal?
So I was thinking, no one's ever done it, but you probably could.
What's it look like?
Up. Green?
No.
No one's seen it.
I was thinking purple. Okay.
But I was thinking stepping on someone's tombstone as a way to going straight to hell. That's a lot easier than being gay.
That's true. It's also more equality.
Yeah.
Based. Anyone goes near that tombstone.
Anyone can do it. You're mowing the lawn. It's oh shit. Well,
we love a tombstone that doesn't discriminate.
That's right. All right. So, but anyway, and then there's also a rumor that they hung the mayor, and that's what started all of it. But like they said,
so a lot of bad things.
But it's also there was never a town, and there's never been a mayor. So that's pretty easy to debunk as not true.
Well, they didn't say the mayor of Stull, did they?
I guess.
The mayor.
A mayor.
A mayor. Exactly.
So the KU, the University of Kansas student newspaper, around 1974, wrote an article that describes a lot of the popular, theories of what happens. And this was back in 1974. So they published this article, and it says the two canon, basically, of what happens. The tombstone thing, that's just a side thing. It's not one of the core things.
It's not the main attraction.
Right. So the main thing is that the portal opens up somewhere in or around the cemetery, and that the devil comes out, shows up on the spring equinox and Halloween, twice a year.
We love consistency.
Yeah.
We love someone who's on time.
Yeah.
We love punctuality.
Punctuality. Thank you for your punctuality.
So do people gather there at those times?
Well, they do, but they're not supposed to,
And they don't see him.
So people go and visit the cemetery just a lot because it's haunted forever. Oh, and then so
it's haunted forever, just in general.
Well, yeah. So they're saying that also there's a church that was either in the cemetery or right outside of it. That church was possessed by the devil, or was
that church,
that specific church, because they abandoned it. They went out and started another church somewhere else.
Just that one,
and then they left.
Okay,
just that one.
Just that one.
That one in particular.
That one especially. That one. Okay, so a church possessed by the devil. That's one of the main attractions. Well, it's not there anymore, is it?
Well, so in 2002, they tore the church down, but I believe
so it's
the cemetery
verifiable.
is still there.
People remember 2002.
Yeah, there was a church, in fact, but it just was abandoned, and so it got to be all spooky and stuff. So,
wow.
Yeah. So this is it's a pretty popular. Ever since they tore it, they made a big deal. I remember because I lived there when they tore it down, and there was kind of a big deal when they tore it down. It's like, oh no, they're tearing down the church. So I remember that. But I would say it sounds like researching the different popularity. It came up in culture a lot, pop culture a lot.
That cemetery?
The cemetery did.
Okay.
So there was a band called Urge Overkill, and in 1992 they named their album Stull and had a picture of the cemetery on the of their album cover. And they're kind of, I looked up what have they done, and it's they're on the Pulp Fiction soundtrack. They're the girl. You'll be a woman soon.
I don't remember this song. I've seen the movie once. But you were singing it the other day. Wow. Well, we're going to get copyright infringed. We're going to get...
Oh, they're going to know
They're
exactly.
going to know. Yeah.
Is that the real band? Was that
That's going to match the algorithm.
Yeah. So that was one. And then there's... This movie is ridiculous. It's called Turbulence 3. Heavy Metal. And the plot of the movie is that this is a little bit spoilers, but it came out in 2001, so over 20 years. So the spoilers alert doesn't really apply.
No, movies over, it's my personal belief, movies over, I would even say 5 years cannot be spoiled.
Well, there you go. That's the rule then.
All right, spoiler alert though, for if you don't believe in that same rule.
So it is... it's kind of it reminds me a little bit of when we watched Medical Police, and they're like, we can hack the and they were kind of making fun. But this movie has a hacker.
Oh, it's so Medical Police was a parody.
Yeah.
Is this a parody?
No, this
is serious.
But it's serious. So there were the first two Turbulence movies that were serious action movies with Ray Liotta, and that they were box office in movie theaters. And then this one is okay, it's going straight to video.
Turbulence 3 straight to video.
Yeah. And it has this Marilyn Manson type of person that gives a concert on the airplane. Marilyn Manson, the singer.
No, I know who it is. You said Manser.
Oh no, Marilyn Manson, the
right
kind of goth singer guy. And it's got, he puts on a concert on the plane. Some people hijack the plane. He's part of the boat. But they try to crash. The main thing is they try to crash the plane into Stull Cemetery to create hell.
But that portal of hell's already there. What's the plane
but this
gonna
would
do?
just open it up forever.
Oh, I guess. Oh, okay.
Because they have to have so many people watching this event. 10 million people were watching it, and then if they crash in, then they'll all believe in hell, and it'll bring it out, or something like that.
Oh, yeah, I can see why it would go straight to video.
But Marilyn Manson saves them from doing that.
The Marilyn Manson character. You can't say Marilyn
Craven.
Manson.
It was something.
Okay. Saves them from doing that.
Slade Craven, I think was the guy's name. And then he lands the plane. He's not a pilot. He fucking lands the plane. Yeah.
Wow.
Good movie.
It's something to think about. Movie. It's definitely something to think about. I think I might skip it But it's
Watch the trailer.
I'll watch the trailer. Yeah.
Watch the trailer and know that the guy in makeup lands the plane.
Okay.
So there was that. There was another movie called Nothing Left to Fear. I don't know anything about that one. There was the TV show Supernatural.
Yes, I know of it, but I've never seen it.
And so they...
Careful, there's a lot of dedicated fans.
Well, but they're like in... no spoilers, I guess, for that, but like...
You can spoil it. It's done.
But there's people that are from Kansas, and it's kind of like a hint because they grew up in Lawrence. And it's like, oh, Stull Cemetery's right there, Supernatural. If you were from Kansas, you would know. You better have some Stull action in there.
So they do it. There's an episode.
Yeah. It's like one of the final battles or something like that. The series culminates there or something like that. Yeah. Big
Some
stuff.
people in the chat have been saying they've been there or have heard of someone they know's had experiences, etc. So it's clearly, I didn't know about it. It's clearly well known.
It is. Well, and who the most recent, and this is like the last tidbit, is that in an interview with Complex Magazine, pop star Ariana Grande talked about her unsuccessful attempt to visit Stull Cemetery and stated she was attacked by demons.
I'm so tired. I'm so tired of these. I'm so tired of rich people having ghost experiences.
So, well, not
Ariana.
This was that what I just read was verbatim from the Wikipedia article that she said she was attacked by demons, and I'm like, okay, Wikipedia. This is a case where like Wikipedia,
check your sources.
Check your sources. Did she really go that far? I'd say like. I don't know that attacked by demons is the exact thing I would say, but she definitely thinks demons. So here's quotes from her article.
Okay.
I felt this sick, and I won't do her voice.
Please don't.
Okay, I'm just gonna do a little bit different voice, but I'm not trying to be her. Like I'm Urge Overkill.
Okay. Whatever this is, it's not Ariana.
Okay.
Ariana is what you're saying. Okay.
No, yeah.
Action.
I felt the sick, overwhelming feeling of negativity over the whole car, and we smelled sulfur, which is the sign of a demon. And there was a fly in the car randomly, which is another sign of the demon.
Is that it?
For people who can't see your face.
A fly?
No, that's not it.
Oh, there's more?
There's more.
Oh, continue.
But I just want to point out, like, for people doing the audio version, you're just putting your head back and closing your eyes.
Every time a celebrity has a ghost story, I want to become the ghost. I want to leave my body, and I just want to... Have you noticed that it's always a haunted mansion. It's never a little haunted... I mean, there are little haunted shacks or whatever, but the word is haunted mansion. It's the rich who have the time... Who have the time to sit around with their wealth... slowly kind of lose touch and see the ghosts.
Wow.
It's the ones with the too much time and money. Anyway, continue with the quote. Continue with.
So she keeps going. She's like, I was like, this is scary. Let's leave. I rolled down the window before we left and said, we apologize. We didn't mean to disrupt your peace. Then I took a picture, and there are 3 super distinct faces in the picture. They're the faces of textbook demons. So then the interviewer was like, oh my gosh, let me see the pictures.
She forgot to turn off her Instagram filter, and it was glitching.
He's like, let's see the pictures. Can you show them to me? She's like, I deleted it.
What the? If you have evidence... clear evidence of a demon, send that to a scientist, sis.
Well,
where's the science, sis?
Well, listen to her explanation. The next day, I tried to send the picture to my manager, and it said, this file can't be sent. It's 666 megabytes. I'm not kidding.
First of all, No.
That would have been like
Wait, this
a
is
NASA camera. or
Complex Magazine?
Yeah.
She said this is a Complex Magazine.
Yeah.
This is quoted.
Yeah.
There's a lot to unpack there. I just feel like I just get really disappointed whenever I hear a celebrity talk about a paranormal, or a lot of celebrities really like to think that they're psychic these days. They think they have a gift that they can talk to the other realm.
Well, maybe they can. They got time
No, they don't.
to foster that.
They don't. They definitely don't. They sit in their mansion, they have their money tucked under their mattress, and they start hearing voices. They start getting paranoid. There ain't nothing supernatural about it. Yes, some of the chat knows who I'm talking about. A celebrity recently went on a talk show and was like, I just got to lean into my powers. It's like, girl, you don't have to. And you didn't have to tell us either. What do you think? Haunted? Not haunted.
Well, let me finish. I'll finish her.
She said more?
Just a little bit.
Okay. Bless you. Oh my God, the demon.
Oh my goodness.
Expel
It's a
those
demon.
demons.
It was a demon.
I hope we caught that snot. If you're watching on YouTube, I hope we caught that flying.
Do a slow motion in the shape of a demon that spewed across.
Oh my God. I've seen some dust floating in front of our cameras this evening.
Well, we're just going to have to take this down.
I'm a little worried.
We're going to have to, if it's
they
got
might
a demon.
be orbs. Orbs.
But so she says, I'm not kidding. I used to have a folder called Demons that had pictures with all the screen caps in it. Oh, screen captures. But then weird things started happening to me, so I deleted it. And so this allegedly happened like over the course of like a couple of weeks.
Not the folder called Demons.
Yeah.
My dad has a folder called Clouds. He takes pictures of clouds. Why can't people have those hobbies?
Yeah.
Take a picture of something real. I don't believe in, you know this about me already. I don't believe in any of it. Period. The hauntings, the ghosts, the portal to hell.
Really?
It is no, but at the same time, I love it. I want to be scared. Like, I don't believe in it, and I feel like there's a scientific proof for basically, literally for all of it. For the picture, if you don't have the picture, you never had the picture. I'm sorry, but a scientific whatever, but that doesn't mean I still don't want it to happen to me. I want to be scared. I want that, like it's the people who want the ghost. Where's my ghost? We're in a building that's 100 years old. This building's probably seen some shit. Where's my haunting?
Yeah.
I want to be scared. I like being scared, but I don't believe in any of it. So I always get conflicted. I want to, but I can't.
Well, here's what I think. I think that people maybe have there's definitely been times in my life I've been like, oh my God, something's creepy about this. I just should leave. I think that's totally valid. That's a fine. You don't know why. You just get a bad feeling about something.
But that's not the same as like a ghost.
I know, but I think that adding that extra layer to explain what it is, it's just like superfluous. You can just say you felt uncomfortable and so you left. That doesn't mean it was because ghosts. But if someone wants to say that it's because of ghosts, like, I don't think it's true, but I don't have like the energy to just, I don't know.
I don't think it's like, I think it has the potential to be harmful in the sense of like people who claim to talk to your dead relatives asking for money in order to do that.
Yeah.
People are taking advantage of emotions. Like, I don't have anything with like going to a cemetery and being like, ooh, it's spooky. Because some places just feel like that. And I think those emotions are kind of placed in us in like, we see spooky movies growing up. We know what spooky looks like. And so when we experience it, we have the spooky feeling.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. there are things that I'm sure are like natural instincts in our brain to recognize danger or something that's spooky,
Right, yeah.
for lack of another word. But yeah, when it's like used as exploitation to like trick anybody, I just don't think that's the move.
Yeah,
That's
I think
the problem with
Ariana, they're selling magazines.
That's
and that's one thing. She's not saying, and no, you can go buy my anti-demon repellent.
She's not selling anything.
Yeah, she's not taking advantage of anyone.
It just makes me think of like, it just makes me think that you're not like mature enough to recognize the reality. That makes me think it's like a, there's lots of people who believe in a lot of things, but then I'm always like, do you really think that was a demon in your photo? Where's this? What? Why? How?
But I also have like some very like people that I consider to be smart, stable, sane friends that have talked about like nothing like they saw a demon or anything, but like this light came on and I just couldn't explain. I just, and it was where someone, their old lover used to live, and that it was just kind of like
I'd be like, get the fuck out of here.
Like maybe they forgot to leave it on. They just forgot, but they are convinced that it was from something else.
What's that thing that the simplest explanation is usually the explanation?
Occam's razor. Yep.
Yeah, I think that the amount of twists and turns you have to take in order to make like a creak you hear or a light turned on, to turn that into, like, there's several steps to get the ghost from there. There's several specific steps, whereas it's like, oh, electricity. We know that. So that's kind of the realm I go with it. But no, I totally get it. I've got friends who believe in that stuff and believe in hauntings and have experiences like that. I just have never and will never. Unless it happens to me. Let's go to Stull.
Until it happens to you.
Let's go to Stull.
We're doing a road trip. We're going to go dig up your Tamagotchi, and then we're going to go to Stull Cemetery. We'll bury it in Stull Cemetery this time.
And it probably has been in hell. All these years it's been dead.
Yeah. If it don't turn on, then we'll take it.
I'm selling it.
Oh.
The English version Angel Gotchis are worth something.
Do you think it's going to actually be there when we go dig it up next week?
I don't know if my friend, so it was at my friend's house. Did you say next week? No. My friend might have dug it up when she moved and took it to wherever. I don't know. I don't remember. So, but that's where I'm pretty sure it originally went to rest.
Okay. Well, speaking of crypts.
Speaking of time capsules. Well, thank you for telling me about Stull. I love hearing stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'm not being like, I'm open to nothing.
If Ariana Grande wanted to come on the podcast and talk about it with us,
I'd tell it to her face.
Come on.
I'd say, no, never mind. Anyway, okay, the Crypt of Civilization. We're not getting into a fake. We're not starting beef with Ariana at the gig. Okay, so the Crypt of Civilization. You heard anything about this?
No, just what you told me earlier today. That's what you're going to do?
So the Crypt of Civilization, what it is, it's an airtight time capsule sealed in 1940 in Oglethorpe University in Brookhaven, Georgia.
Wow. Okay.
And like time capsules weren't a thing back then. Like time capsule is in the dictionary now, like what it is, but that word had to be like invented.
I thought they've done stuff. Like I thought there was like, they put Abraham
1930s.
Lincoln's something in.
I don't know if they were calling it time capsule.
Yeah, maybe there's, yeah.
I don't think, well, in my research, they were talking about there was a separate time capsule at the at similar time, and they were like, should we call it a time bomb? And they were like, no, we shouldn't call it a time bomb and time capsule. So you can look up time capsule separately. However, so it all started with Thornwell Jacobs. He was the president of Oglethorpe University, 1915 to 1944. Was doing some research, realized that all we know about ancient Egypt kind of came from two sources. The first was all the objects found inside the tombs of kings, these of prominent people.
Yeah.
And then also rock inscriptions and tablets. And so those gave us a general idea, but they don't really talk about how people lived.
Right.
Day to day.
Right.
What was going on. It's like you find a rock tablet inscription, it's like a grocery list. Do you know what I mean? Which I guess would tell you about how they lived.
A little bit, at least how the pharaohs and everything.
Right. Because normal people weren't just, like, non-pharaohs weren't just writing on rocks.
Who cares?
Right. It was a skill.
Yeah.
So Jacobs envisioned kind of a modern day ancient Egyptian crypt filled with items that showed current everyday life and human traditions. While at the same time, so he wanted to have the accumulated knowledge of the past 6,000 years since those were opened, but also like a snapshot of 1930s in particular, when it was leading up to when it was sealed. So he discussed the idea with Scientific American, the publication, to kind of drum up publicity. And so he got help from scientist Thomas K. Peters, and they started collecting stuff to put in it in 1937. So let me tell you a little bit about the crypt. It was constructed in the basement of Phoebe Hearst Hall at Oglethorpe, 20 feet long, 10 feet wide, and 10 feet high.
Okay.
So they did a lot of renovations to make it super sealed. So they added like dampening proof, waterproofed it, whatever. So there used to be a pool down there where the basement was. I don't think they I read some different things. I don't know if the pool itself became the crypt or if just the room it was in. But it has a 2 feet thick stone floor, 7 feet thick stone roof.
What?
And the Bureau of Standards was consulted about how to preserve everything. And they said stainless steel receptacles, glass lined, and filled with inert nitrogen gas to prevent aging.
Okay.
So they were like, this stuff isn't aging. Like, I guess in a lot of those pharaohs' tombs, the lack of humidity, and then being sealed off preserved them. But this is like no humidity, no oxygen, no aging. So, the contents. Let's get into the contents. What would you put in a time capsule?
Tamagotchi.
To show today's
to show
life.
today's. Well, you got to do like, what would be weird is like an iPad, but you couldn't turn it on, right?
Well, they have an answer to their electrical problems.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of think that internet server farms are our time capsule to people in the distant future.
Maybe.
Like if civilization were gone right now, they find a way to hack into those server farms, the aliens or the people in 8,000 years, they'll get a lot of information.
Sort of. Like I don't know how long those last.
That's true. They degrade over time. So maybe if like all of a sudden it was really humid or really arid and cold or hot there.
Yeah. I don't know the best way to preserve it.
They inert nitrogen gas.
There you go.
I guess. I don't know. Some of the things in this time capsule, there are hundreds of objects in it. There's some 800 works, 200 fiction books, drawings, scale models of transportation and communication items, sound recordings of speeches, medical, scientific, industrial tools and processes, paper mache models of fruits and vegetables.
Oh.
Seed samples.
Okay.
Clothing from their day and age. I think they had little dolls dressed up in things that people wear. Bird sound recordings. A makeup vanity. The typical contents of a woman's purse
Ooh.
in the 1930s, I guess. A Donald Duck toy.
Oh, okay.
The Bible. The Quran. Dante's Divine Comedy. Dental floss.
Okay.
Miniatures of great sculptures around the world. An original manuscript of Gone with the Wind.
Had they made the movie? I don't think they'd made the movie by then.
By 1930, I don't know when the movie
Oh,
came
well, it was
out.
by
Yeah.
1940. They would
Yeah.
have done it, yeah.
So I think one of the people donated one of the original scripts. For
Okay.
it. Voice recordings of Hitler, Stalin,
Wow.
FDR, and Popeye the Sailor Man.
Okay.
A sound recording of a professional pig caller.
So notably, though, in 1940, Taylor died in 1945, and they sealed it all up, right? So World War II, I don't know if that's really...
I think it had just started.
It had just started.
When they sealed it. I think they put in a couple of plates from the newspaper of when it started.
Okay.
When they sealed it in 1940. When did World War II?
Well, I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure that Pearl Harbor didn't happen until 41 or 42.
Okay. I'm pretty sure I read that, but someone can confirm. Check. You didn't even respond when I said there was sound recording of a professional pig caller.
I doesn't surprise me.
A Budweiser beer.
What did they say at Arkansas?
Suey. Woo pig suey
Woo.
is how you call the Razorbacks.
Oh, okay. Is that what they're doing?
I doubt it. A cash register, radio, mechanical pencil, a cigarette holder. A gadget that teaches you English.
Okay.
In case you need to know it. And a little windmill that produces electricity to power all the electrical items, the toaster, the radio, whatever.
Oh, okay.
If they know how to use it. I don't know.
No windmill.
No precious metals or jewels. They didn't want any vandals. They didn't want this thing cracked open. However, there's costume jewelry.
Just a bunch of worthless crap.
Just a bunch of worthless. I think it would go on Antiques Roadshow. Some of this stuff would sell big on Antiques Roadshow.
Probably, yeah.
Mint condition? Yes. Inert oxygen? Yes. The walls were lined with pictographs by George L. Carson, illustrator, to show the history of humans. So it kind of laid out like an ancient Egyptian tomb.
Okay.
Like a crypt, like stuff all around the edges, stuff on shelves.
Because they're calling it the Crypt of Civilization, right? But there seems to be they're kind of focused on the 1930s.
Honestly, it does. You can find the complete list of stuff that's in it online. On the Oglethorpe website, I think they listed everything, but they just said like 800 works. And I'm like, what are they? Because that matters.
Yeah.
Like, how far back? But like I said, he wanted to create a snapshot of 1930s everyday life at the same time. So there has been a lot. There hasn't been actually a lot of discussion about the prejudice of the things he decided to put in. Because you think about this, this is one, maybe two curators. This is not like a snapshot of everyday life. This is a snapshot of what he wanted other people to see.
Yeah.
And there was no mention of this on the Wikipedia article. I actually found an article on The Atlantic while I was looking for the list of items called A Racist Message Buried for Thousands of Years in the Future, talking about this time capsule.
Okay.
It goes into Jacob's personal beliefs, which were racist. Not just like really racist.
Well, and it's like back then too, like, I don't know, there's a movie, Remains of the Day, that I love. And it's kind of like part of the lead up to World War I and World War II rather. And people are like, Hitler and those ideas were very popular. There was a lot of very like racist stuff happening in the late 30s and late 40s. And it was it was pretty awful. And people were like, he's just, they were like, oh, Hitler, we just think of him as like the greatest villain in history. People were like, he's not that bad, back then. And, but if no one was like, oh, he's going to do the Holocaust, nobody thought of him in like those terms. They were just like, he's a troublemaker, and he's got a couple of...
In the lead up to the war, kind of.
And so I think it's very interesting to like somebody, that
someone kind of captured literally the lead up to World War II and all the awful things going on.
Yeah. Right
before it. I thought it was ironic that it was called The Crypt of Civilization, but it makes no mention of what a lot of people think of as the cradle of civilization. So it says in that article, the history of African Americans and Africa as a continent are absent. Like, this is all stuff that was not on the Wikipedia page. It wasn't even listed in the sources. Like, I was kind of shocked after I read the article on The Atlantic that this wasn't like at least more controversies about it, I guess. So this has brought up a lot of valid questions about like what our future descendants need to see. Is it the truth? What will it teach them? So that was just kind of a whole other side of the contents. Because you see the list of contents elsewhere and you're like, okay. And then you kind of delve into what it doesn't have and you're like, this doesn't really capture. This captures Jacob's worldview. And it was said that like it kind of is trying to preserve the world that he wants.
Yeah.
His like white supremacy window of the world. Now I'll tell you when it was sealed and when we're supposed to open it. Because it kind of shocked me how much in the future we're supposed to open this. So May 28th, 1940, it was sealed. Oxygen was removed. It was placed with the nitrogen. The stainless steel door, it was welded shut. You can't get in. So Jacobs had calculated that 6,177 years had passed since the start of the Egyptian calendar, which is disputed, which people think may be off by like 2,000 years. So he proposed this one be opened in another 6,177 years, which makes it 8,113 AD. That's optimistic.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Climate change, just in general, the state of things. It was sealed with a big hullabaloo. All the big newspapers reported on it. Bing Crosby was jokingly invited to be the master of ceremonies when they opened it. And he said that would be contingent upon my motion picture schedule at the time. So yeah, this thing is just sitting. It's still there. It's sitting there. I think it's deeded to the United States at some point into the trust of the people of the 82nd century or whatever. But it's kind of like, I think there's no legal obligation to not open it now. There's no like, I don't know. It's a weird. If this were, I don't think it should be presented as like a time capsule of life. It's a time capsule of Jacob's.
They should put another
life
one.
And views.
They should build another one outside of it. Like you got to walk in, or the door to it is another time capsule. That's like, wait, he left some stuff out. Look at what he forgot.
He left everything out.
Look at this racist. Look what. By the way, here's what Hitler did after a few years after.
And his, I think his personal journals and stuff, they were only digitized and like made mass available in like 2016 or something. And that's when people were reading them and being like, oof, this guy had some not great thoughts, really bad thoughts. But I think that's the problem with time capsules in general. Like, I don't know.
Well, and
they're a weird thing. Preserving history is important, but like we're learning with AI, whoever controls it makes it biased in some way,
And just in general, like, I don't know. This guy, it sounds like he was someone to look up to necessarily back then, but he was definitely maybe a little more mainstream. And to think of what are people 100 years from now going to think of what I think?
What our ancestors?
Yeah. I probably have a lot of views today that they will think are very problematic.
Well, that's true. That's kind of like, yeah. You just have to like keep on top of it. Like people who stop changing, like if you're not still learning and growing, you might as well not even exist. Do you know what I mean? And I think in the Atlantic article they were talking about like it might just confuse people because they'll be in a post-race 8,000 years in the future kind of society potentially.
Yeah.
And people be like, what was going on? What's the deal with these people? These are dumbasses.
Yeah.
But which is how we look at people,
I don't know. I've always been, I think particularly looking back, there's definitely different culture. And I heard somebody say once, like, you think we're so smart. Well, we have all these, like, we invented all of these, like, nuclear weapons that we can wipe out our own civilization. Like, how smart is that, right? Like, and because we have, like, striped toothpaste and Lucky Charms, it's like, oh, we're advanced because of computers,
Oh, yeah, we're not.
And like, who's to say? Like, you don't, if you go back to the Mayans or something like that, like, maybe they were a lot more interesting and thought a lot deeper than us, and they wouldn't give a shit about Twitter. That wouldn't make them dumb, That might make them a lot smarter.
Twitter? Not it coming back to Twitter.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it all comes back to Twitter. You know what? So a lot of tweets were archived, were they not, in the Library of Congress?
I think
a lot of us are in the Library of Congress.
There you go.
Which I don't necessarily think we should be. I don't know. Twitter's I don't know if you could have a social media website now that even accurately depicts the world in this moment. Because you're still only you're getting the people that have access to the internet.
Yep.
It's weird. Time capsules are weird. And like, I don't know. I just want my Tamagotchis.
Yeah. Why the fuck did you do that?
No, I know. Not this. Chat. How are your tweets going in the Library of Congress? Either everything's worth keeping or nothing is. Yeah, well, we just saw Everything Everywhere All at Once in movie theaters. And I don't know if you noticed, I was having an existential crisis on the 25-minute walk home from the movie theater. Oh, that movie just like kind of piled it on too. I mean, to the, like, if you were researching this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then you're like, whoa, shit. Anyway.
Well, there you go.
If you were going to let's end with a little fun question.
Okay.
You have 5 items that are precious to you.
To me, or just to the civilization?
To you. This is Justin's time capsule.
Okay.
That's what I wrote it in cursive on the outside. Justin's time capsule. Up to 5 things.
Piggy?
That are precious to you. No, they can't be living. A picture of Piggy could go in there.
Yeah. My wedding ring.
You can put it in there.
What?
We can get another one.
Okay. I don't know. See, I think if there's like a rumor like Teddy Roosevelt's penis or something like that, right? In a jar somewhere.
That's a rumor?
I don't know. Well, there's probably someone.
It's starting here, isn't it?
Maybe. That should go in there. If there is.
The story of just things that are important to Justin.
If I had
Teddy
it,
Roosevelt's
that would be
penis in a jar.
That would be one of them. I don't know. Probably. I don't know. Maybe but anything.
A record, your favorite. I put like my favorite CD.
But I want to use it still.
Okay, well you can have 2. Okay.
All right.
You can have 2.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. What would you put in?
It would be for like 200 years from now. It would say, "Who's Justin?" Is what we're trying to say. I would put in Hillary Duff's Dignity album. I would put the deluxe Japanese edition.
Okay.
Because it's got the photo book. I would put in a picture of all of us together. I would put in a CD. I don't know. People don't burn CDs. A USB drive of like maybe a couple of my streams, a couple of my podcasts, some of my videos, so they could see me in motion. I would put in some newspaper clippings of me. No, probably not. Those 3 things for sure. I guess that would tell you kind of who I am. I don't, and maybe some stuff I've written, maybe some journals.
Yeah,
probably those. And like, a copy of the hit movie Amelie, starring Amelie.
Yep. I would do Going Bananas. I think that would be a VHS tape of Going Bananas.
Are you ever gonna? Is there a Wikipedia article on Going Bananas? I
don't know. There probably is. But that would just be. I think maybe that would be a good like IMDb. I'm pretty sure I've seen the IMDb page. And my dream is to have the kid actor, because he still like does soap operas and stuff, come on and talk about his experience.
Okay, we'll get him next time he's in DC.
Okay,
perfect.
I don't know his name, but I'll look it up.
I don't think many people do after that movie.
He was also in a Sylvester Stallone movie.
There you go. Back to the beginning.
Yep.
Okay. You got anything else to say?
Well, no, thanks. Tell your friends. And
yes.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for listening. We really have enjoyed doing this. We're on episode 3, and I just think we keep getting better. It's great. It's
wonderful.
So as usual, a lot of this information came from wikis. There's lots more information about these topics out there. Go check them out. Yeah, y'all hear the sirens behind us? DC sirens. And thank you for listening to Quickie Wiki What. Once again, you'll be able to find the VOD of this episode on YouTube, as well as the audio wherever you get your podcasts. We will be streaming next week's episode live again on twitch.tv/halfmoonjoe. So we will see you then with more wiki articles to discuss. Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye.